What's up, guys? I'm Chelsea Hernandez, music editor at Swagger RS, and you're now tuned into my podcast, Time Out, where I have conversations with music-related subjects about their workings in music. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Chelsea Hernandez, music editor with Swagger RS, and you are tuned into Time Out. Today we have Quan. How are you?
Great as always. How are you, Chelsea?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. It's so good to have you on. I came across your music on Spotify. I don't even know what.
I was just about to ask you that. How did you come across me? I don't know how you found me, but how did that happen? What was that like?
I have no idea. I think you may have been on like my Discover Weekly playlist with Spotify. I get recommended some really cool artists on there. So you were one of them that I came across. And I went and listened to Wonderboy, and I may have listened to some of your other stuff too. I probably did. But yeah, I was like, whoa, this guy's talented. This is so cool. I like this. So
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So first of all, let's talk about Wonderboy since you released that this year. How did you come up with the concept for it? Where did the name come from? All that.
So I was with some of the guys. We were at this park, man. We were all just chilling. And we just spitting bars, we just rapping or whatever. And they was like, my creativity is all over the place. I can think of one thing, I can think of another thing. It can become a problem when I'm writing sometimes. I can just be writing. I can just sit there writing, and out of nowhere I think about, I wonder what happened to this dog like 5 years ago. Like my brain goes everywhere. So, we were just chilling, just rapping, I guess. And then he was almost like, Quan, you everywhere. It's almost like you can't get a grab on you. It's almost like a wonder. I don't know, you're like a Wonderboy or something like that. I'm like, It kind of stuck. I don't know why. I don't know why it kind of stuck, because I don't exactly know. Like, I can't pinpoint my creativity. It's everywhere, like, so that's where it came from. One of the guys said it and it just kind of stuck. So I just stuck with it. I'm like, I kind of like that. I might name a project that. I don't know.
Nice. Okay. So do you have a favorite song from Wonderboy?
Oh man, I was hoping you didn't ask that. Oh man. Quan, what would have to be your favorite song from Wonderboy? Oh my God. Okay, so if I had to pick a song, my favorite song from Wonderboy would have to be, I think, I'm gonna have to say Love Wars. That has to be.
Really?
That has to be.
Why?
Yeah, a lot of people love Comeback. That was the first time I stepped out of my element, like a release track. That was the first time I just, you know what? I think I can make a different sound. That was the first time I stepped out of my element. Like a lot of people love talking about the obvious, Came Back, or some other ones, but that one had to be my favorite. It was just me stepping out of my element, and I took my time with it. Like my writing process is very long. Like for me to write a song, it'll probably take around, a lot of people say, oh, it takes me like 30 minutes, or it takes me like an hour, 2 hours. It takes me about 2 weeks. I have to feel it. I have to feel it. I can't just sit down and write, just to get a song over. I have to feel it. I don't know. If I'm not feeling it, I can't write. So it takes me about 2 weeks. And with that song in particular, I want to say it took me about a month, mainly because I forgot about it. I was just going through notes, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I forgot about this. Why? I can never finish songs. I just can never finish songs. So yeah, that was just the first time I stepped out of my element. I looked at it and I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. And then I played it to sleep for about like 2 weeks. Like I went to sleep just playing. I'm like, I'm in love with this song. I know it's gonna go, under the radar, but this is my favorite one right here.
Nice. Okay. So can you explain the background story for that song? Like, what was it? It sounds like it was probably based off of like a relationship. Do you feel comfortable like going through that?
Yeah. I'm comfortable with any question, I answer anything.
All
So
right.
with that song, huh, with that song, I had to dig deep into my bag of thoughts. So I was just sitting there and it's like, how long is he? Because nothing lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing lasts forever, of course, but it's one of those songs that just hit deep, and one of my favorite parts is, uh, I don't have no time on my hands. I've been feeling lifeless. I'm hurt. Can I call you back in 2 years? Because I'm so indecisive about love. It's like I'm over exaggerating. Obviously, I'm not going to literally call you back in 2 years, but that's just me saying I need space in a
Yeah.
particular moment. So I've been feeling the way you got me feeling I lost. Because you're gonna love me till I'm dead. So basically, I'm asking, are you gonna be patient with me while I'm going through this process? Because I'm still young. I still don't know exactly what I want out of a person. So it's just me looking for patience and just me understanding that if you're not gonna stick around, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But I understand nothing lasts forever, and I'm just looking for some type of patience so I can gather my thoughts together. Because like when you're young, you know that we're going to be together forever. That frightens you. Like I don't know if it frightens you, but for me, it's forever. Oh my god! Like I like to let things flow. If forever comes, let it happen. That's just me. But I'm just so dangerously indecisive. I can say one thing, I can think one thing, and then I just go somewhere else. So yeah, that was mainly what that was about. Just indecisive love, just battling. That's why it's like a love war almost.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I listened to it the first time and it was so different from everything else on the album. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm
It
like
was.
curious about this one. So, all right, interesting. It's interesting to know that that was your favorite song. And now knowing the backstory of it, I'm going to go back and listen to it and really listen to it. Um, but okay, cool. Uh, so you mentioned that it takes you like 2 weeks to write a song. So how
Mhm.
long did it take you to get the album together, to get like everything written and I
I
guess?
want to say around 6 months, I think. Um, yeah, because I take my time with each song. If I'm feeling it, if I'm really feeling it, I can write probably 2 or 3 songs in a day. But like when I'm writing too long, my thoughts get everywhere else, because there's so much stuff going on outside of, music. So just to finish that whole project, I want to say I've written all of them. It took me around 3 months, but it was the recording process, making sure everything was how I wanted to be. Because I can get the writing down, I get the ad libs, I get the style, I practice it, I go, I record it. I don't like that one, record it again. I don't like that one, record it again. And another reason why it takes me so long just to write is because, say, I write one line, start the beat over, go over it. Write 2 lines, start the beat over, go over it again. Write the third line, start the beat over, and I go over it again. So by the time I get to my 15th line, I'm just going over it. Like I'm going over the whole thing from start to end every time I write a line, just so I can remember it. And when I go into the studio, I can just say it without looking off a notebook or a phone or something like that. So
Interesting.
yeah, that's why it's always took me. And I've never dodged that type of question. I never like beat around the bush with that one because a lot of people say it takes them like 30, 40 minutes. I don't like doing that because things get, it's repetition, like that process of, repeating. I don't like, sounding the same every time. I need to put some thought into this. And, sometimes creativity comes from the strangest places, man. Like, you can be sitting down doing something or doing whatever, and like the best thoughts come from the strangest things. Like all of my best songs, it came from while I was either at work or probably at the library or something like that. I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't thinking about music though. Like came back, I was at work when I thought of that song. Like I was writing the whole song inside of my head, and then when I got home, I wrote it down. I just needed to find a beat to it, and then I found it.
Wow.
So I wasn't even thinking about music when I wrote that song. So yeah, that's just my thought process, and that's how long it took me. Around like 6 months, I would say.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the artists that I talk to, it takes them like you said, like 30, 40 minutes to write a song,
Mhm.
you know, and it's so interesting and so cool to hear that like you take your time, and not to say that other artists don't like put the thought into their,
Right.
songs and all that stuff, because I know that they do. But the fact that you like sit on it, you really like think about it and you take things in, I love that. That is so cool to me. Like,
Mhm.
and it, reinforces that your music comes from a genuine place. And like I said, not to discredit any other artist and any
Right.
other, you know, like musician and their songwriting process. I'm not saying that their music doesn't come from a genuine place,
Right.
but it's just so interesting and so different that you like really take your time, you sit on it, you wait, make sure it's, it's a really like good song. Uh,
Mhm.
and I think that's also probably why I like your music so much. It's not something that I knew listening to it, but there is something different about it. And
Boom.
Came Back was the first song that I heard by you, and it made me want to go and listen to more. And when I listened to your Wonderboy album, I was like, man, this is so good. Like there, there was, you could tell there was time put into it. So,
Yeah. So like, and that comes from like my favorite artists, some of my favorite artists. Like you take Kendrick Lamar, he hasn't released a project in like 2017, I think.
yeah.
Frank Ocean, he hasn't released a project in like, oh my God, I don't remember when he dropped that project. Was it? I don't remember. But it's the time that they put in, just to make sure. Because I would rather write one good song than 15 mediocre songs.
Mhm.
It matters. You never know who might listen to it. You never know which line would, change your life. And it's like, the main thing I look for, and I don't care if people don't like it, do like it, um, want to listen to it, don't want to listen to it. The main thing I look for is different. Could you tell us a difference between everything else that you hear? And as long as I get that, I mean, that's the main thing I try to aim for. And I took so much time just trying to find a different style, like just practicing ad like the small things, just to ad lib line after line after line, because I don't want to give any song a break. I don't want to, like, how you listen to a song, but you'll listen to the song just for that one line to come up, just for
Mhm.
that one line or that one part. But I want people to listen to it for the whole song. That's why I take my time, like just line by line by line. And yeah, man. And yeah, so a part of that came from, like, one of my some of my favorite artists.
Yeah. So you, along that line, which is, I was going to ask you about that. You mentioned Kendrick, Frank Ocean. Are there any other artists that you like draw inspiration from?
Other than because those two are the main ones. But other ones, I love Joyner Lucas' creativity with his videos.
Mhm.
It's just, oh my God, he takes a lot of time, man. He's gonna produce a movie one day, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Um, so Joyner Lucas, hmm, Earl Sweatshirt, Earl
Mm,
Sweatshirt. Um, Tyler, mainly because he's not afraid to be himself.
yeah.
I love Tyler's music, but just not being afraid to be himself no matter where he's at,
Mm,
because in most cases, the name like sells. Just the name. Like you can put out anything. Like when you're an artist, when you have that strong fan base, you can just put out anything. It's the name that's gonna sell. So like yeah, I want to say those are the main ones, Earl, Tyler, Joyner, and oh, Cole, obviously. I
yeah.
feel like you say Kendrick, you gotta say Cole. It's always the thing with them. But yeah, those are the main ones. Those are the main ones that influence me.
Okay, cool. I hope that you get to work with one of them one day.
Man, I would be so nervous. Oh my God.
No, but I think they would respect you and the time that you take with your songs. I can't imagine that they don't put in the same amount of time and, you
Mhm.
know, thought into their music. So I think it would be a good like team.
Okay.
I don't, I can't think of any other word for it.
So like, okay, so what about you? What made you get into this? Like, what made you, want to get into this whole like editor thing? Like, what made Chelsea want to, go out more? Like, what was this all about?
Oh boy, nobody's ever asked me about that.
I'm just a people's person. I love conversation, so that's just me.
Thank you. I grew up writing. I mean, I would write stories 6, 7, 8 years old, like writing. So that was something that like I was always into. And the older I got, the more into writing I got, but also the
Hmm.
more into music I got.
Hmm.
Y- Music really can influence your moods and help you
Man,
through some tough stuff, you know? So
man.
that like I'm not musically inclined. So
Mm.
like that was not an option for me. Like making music was not an option. But like the love of writing and the love of music kind of drew me into wanting to be in the music field somehow. Uh,
Mhm.
and then I found Swagger RS back in like 2017, 2018. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, this is so cool. And I mean, I have been in it ever since then. I can't imagine not doing it. Like, I love it
Mm.
so much. There's nothing else I would rather do. So,
Yeah, and I want to say I turned down probably like 5 interviews like right before this. So I think it was just the whole presentation, and then I really looked into the body of work, and I'm like, oh man, she got like 40-minute interviews, man. I'm like, and I'm looking at them all. I'm like, oh, she's really trying. Like, wow, like mm, this is different. This is different. You know, a lot of the interviews are just like want to say 5 minute simple questions or just I think it's just the presentation. But
thank you.
it was just that, the way you presented it, like and I was at work when I saw it and then I responded at work. So I was just like, you know what, it seems like a good opportunity. I want to do this one. So this is my first interview that I've done.
Wow. Really? Okay. I wouldn't know. Sometimes you can tell with people, but I would not have known. I feel like your answers are so like you know how artists get like media training?
Hmm.
That's what it seems like. Like you're so good with your responses. So
I get told that all the time. I'm a talker. I talk too much.
no. It makes for a good interview, people want that intimate, you know,
Hmm.
connection, that intimate time learning about the artist that they listen to. So I like having conversations and exchanges, rather than like sticking to a specific script,
Hmm.
have
Yep.
bulleted questions, things to touch on, but conversation is a lot.
Mm. It's the main key. It's the main key. And it's like I hate those, I want to say too cool for school type, that's not relaxed, just giving those simple answers, one of those telling you what you want to hear rather. Like just be you, man. Like have a conversation, connect with one another, like I'm just I'm a laid back dude. I love people. I love talking to people. But not just talking about myself. I love learning about other people as well.
Mhm.
So yeah. Like even though like this is an interview, I guess about me, I had to ask, what, brings you to light, what wakes you up, you know,
Yeah.
just one of those type of things. It's just nature, I guess.
No, I appreciate it. I have never been asked that before, so it's really cool to be able to talk about it. But thank you. Um, I really want to know when, I'm always curious about this. When did you start making music? Like what made you decide you wanted to do that for a living?
Okay. So my first dream was, of course, basketball. You know, day and night practice every day. Just like how I do writing, day and night practice every day. Day and night. It's all I knew. It's all I knew. It's all I really wanted to do. So I want to say from like sixth grade all the way up until I want to say sophomore year, basketball, day and night, rain, snow, cold, hot. I have to go do it. And I'll still do it to this day. The love for basketball is still there. Like that's still my first love. But I want to say it was the second year that I didn't make the basketball team because I was ineligible. I just couldn't balance like school and sports. So I quit sports to get better at school. And I realized I'm like, you know what? this is the first time in my life where I don't have basketball anymore. What am I gonna do? I've always, I've always known how to like rap, like freestyle. I've always known how to do it. I just never took advantage of it and took it to like another level. So I've always had that ability since I can't even tell you. So it's just always been around. So, I gave it a little knock, I guess. I'm like, you know what, I'll just try this. So we started rapping, and then I had to come to a realization. I can freestyle, but I can't write. Like I feel like a lot of rappers need to know the difference between writing and freestyle. Like I could freestyle, like I know it may sound crazy, but I could freestyle like crazy, but I couldn't write. I sit down, I write, I couldn't write a song. Like, and if I did, it sounded like I was freestyling, just punchline after punchline, no substance, So it was frustrating, man. I want to say it took me around like 2 years to learn how to write. Well, to the point that, I want to get to, because I wasn't necessarily looking at other people's writing or looking at what they was doing. I just wanted to be a better me, just what can I do better, from like A and B rhyme schemes to making punchlines more, putting more substance into it, uh, drawing people's attention. And then that's when I got better with writing. And then I started shooting like the videos for it. And I'm like, you know what? You can do all of these songs, but if you don't have a strategy for promo, what difference does it make? You just putting out work that's not going to get looked at. So that's when I learned it's not just about how much you write or how much you get better at writing. You have to do the promo. I had to realize it's just me. I'm a one man team. I have to do the promo for me. I have to write the song. I have to record the song. I have to pay for props. I have to do the promo. So it was a long process, I would say. And my process well, I know it's gonna be different from a lot of people. And a lot of people always tell me, no, Quan, it doesn't have to be that hard. I'm like, well, I wouldn't rather have it any other way, to be honest with you. So yeah, that was just the process. After basketball, I just picked up this and I started going to the studio. I want to say year after year after year, just sitting down where I have like 5 notebooks full of just writings. And it was just, I think just to see how much, I got better is just like that process alone is fulfilling. And I don't want to say I'm satisfied because I'm still going, but just to see how far I've came so far, just with that, is, I think the biggest achievement with that is that I found myself, to be honest.
That's
So
nice. Aw, I like that. I like that, man. Yeah. It's it's such a jump. Basketball to music are that's so different.
yeah.
Wow. So do you produce and like do you do all of that for yourself? Like you
No, so I have it's a producer I met from years ago. Me and my guy from high school, we used to go to the studio. He was the one that introduced me to him. So
okay.
yeah, we got in touch. That's when we first started to do songs. It was me and my guy. His name is Rello, by the way. So it was me and my guy. We went to the studio. We just started doing songs or whatever. And then after a while, stopped going to the studio. I want to say after a year. Yeah, it took like a year. So we were hitting the ground running, and then we stopped. I want to say for about a year. People transferred. We graduated, and that life after graduation, you're trying to figure out what is about. It was that whole process. Life
Okay.
after graduation, trying to find my feet first, and then get back to it. Because I had to realize, I just graduated, man. Like, this was new for me. So it took me about a year some change just to get back into the studio. And then I was trying to find his email. I couldn't remember like how to get in contact with him. So I'm just going through old files, finally found them, hit him up, asked for a studio session. We've been locked in ever since. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's yeah. He produces and shoots my videos.
What's his
His
name?
name is Rio. His name is Rio De Janeiro or something. I think it's De Janeiro, but he goes by Rio. He goes by Rio.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just been locked in ever since. I think the main thing that kept us locked in was just we both share like a creativity.
Mhm.
It may not necessarily be the same all the time, but we both want something different as opposed to you know, the standard. You know, because being from Chicago, it's hard to try to separate yourself. You
Yeah.
know, so much, you know, gangs and so much like you know, rapping about the same like material. It's so hard to separate yourself. That's why I applaud Chance the Rapper so much for standing out, you
Mm.
know, because you know, when people think Chicago, they instantly think of, you know, oh, you know, is it bad down there? The shootings? It's hard, it's so hard to separate yourself. So oftentimes, you know, I try to, depending on who I'm talking to, I won't even tell people that I'm from Chicago. Because that's the type of music that they'll look for in my music, but they won't find that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was just it. You know, we just been locked in ever since. Yeah, that's my guy. It's just been me and him though.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah, normally a lot of artists have like this team of people, but the
Mhm.
fact that it's just two of you and you accomplished so much, or like your music is so good, that's cool. Like, I would have thought that there was like definitely more than two people working on it.
You know what? I get that all the time. Somebody always asks me, who writes for you? And like I said earlier, I don't think people understand the writing process. It took me 2 years to write like that. Like it took me 2 years to come up with an own style and find myself. That was a long process, man, because it's like I was so focused on trying to be my idols, you know, trying to sound like them and trying to grab their fan base. It was just frustrating. I'm like, no, he wouldn't say that like that. And I'm like, you know what, man, just forget it. You know, I threw that notebook away. I grabbed the new one, and I'm gonna just be me. And the first song that I started to find myself was "Comeback," and then that was the biggest song that I put out. So I'm like, you know what? I think I found myself. Yeah, that was the first song that I found myself.
Yeah.
I really found myself, and I really start, thinking strategy. I really started thinking strategy. It's because I had to think about promos too. It's like the promotions. I have to get it out there. That
Mhm.
was just so. I think it was just writing it, then going to go record it, and then finishing the video. But the promotion was the bigger part because I have to get it out there. But then again, I had to come up with something that'll make people look at it. Because it's up and coming rappers have that bad stereotype. It's that when people see artists that they're not familiar with, oh, skip. Don't have
Mhm.
time for this. I had to get something that'll make them stick. It's a picture on me on Instagram. Every promotion page has it. It's a picture of me with like the mask on. It's like a wig and it's a mustache going across. And everybody's like, yo, this weird guy is kind of fire.
Yeah.
Or, such and such is kind of good. And then they're like, okay, let me try, I guess. Boom. And then that's when it started rising and rising and rising. So it was just a long process, man. But I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
If it was easy, everybody would do it, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely sets you apart. And I commend you on taking that time to better your writing and to
Mhm.
really like, come into yourself, find your lane. Not, I
Mhm.
feel like not a lot of people would take that time out to really, step back and be like, how can I be different? Let me work on this and really, you know, evolve into myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
that
mhm.
is so that is so cool to me and so commendable. Like, good job for, and how old are you?
22, I'm 22.
Good job for realizing that at such a young age that you need to take that time out to really, hone your craft.
Mhm.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and a lot of my friends ask me all the time, like, Quan, why do you take so long to do this? Or why do you do that? Or why do you write so weird? Or why do you write in general? You don't need to. I don't want to be what's hot. I want to be what's 10 years from now. I still want to be talked about 10 years from now, 20
Yeah.
years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now. Because, if you really think about it, it's a hot artist every summer. It's a
Mhm.
new hot artist every summer.
Mhm.
But like the Lauren Hills, the Kendrick Lamars, the Notorious, the Jay-Z's, those are forever.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are forever. Not saying that, I want to put myself in that group. I just want my own fan base to remember me and love me for me. If it's one thing that I always want to be remembered for, Not necessarily great, not necessarily like or dislike for being me. Like, I want people to look at him like, okay, that was the guy that was himself the whole time.
Mhm.
So it's just I just want it like forever thing. I just want to be a forever, not in the spotlight, but when someone brings up music, they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, he was different. He done it differently.
Mhm.
Just to inspire people to do it differently.
Mhm.
Nothing's wrong with being different. You
Yeah.
know, that's why, and that's another reason why I don't have like a lot of features out there. I don't have any features on my project. I don't have any like features out. I have old features with my guy Rello, but those from years ago. But everyone sounds the same. We don't have the same the ideas. Like my videos is like all over the place. Like just the creativity is all over the place. And being from Chicago, like I talked about earlier, everyone raps about the same thing. I don't want to rap about that. Like I don't want to. Everyone just has the same thought process. So that's just me just wanting to be myself again. So yeah, that's what I came from. Just trying to be myself, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's super easy to, you know, get that immediate attention. It's a lot
Mhm.
harder to establish that longevity, to keep people
Yeah.
in, you know, past a few months or a few songs.
Hmm.
And I mean, in my opinion, you definitely have that potential to, have that longevity to be, for people to listen to your music years from now and still be like,
Hmm.
this is good.
Hmm.
Man, I hope you keep making music and evolving. And I sincerely hope that like you blow up bigger than what you are now, because you are so talented. It
I
would be
appreciate
such
it,
a
man.
shame for like this like just small group of people to know who you are and not for
Mhm.
things to expand beyond that.
Mhm.
So I sincerely hope that happens for you.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
yeah, I have one more question. Your
Okay, cool.
album art, how did like who came up with that? Where did that
Ah,
I love it. It is
I
so
really, I really wish I remember his name, man. He's in my Instagram. He deleted his Instagram, but he has a new one. That's why I can't remember his name.
okay.
I really can't. It's in my DM somewhere. I gave him credit. It's on my Instagram. I gave him credit on the Instagram, but I can't remember it off the top because he deleted it. But man, I'm like, I hit him up. I seen that he do artwork, so I'm like, okay, he's in the artwork. Okay, cool. So just like how I came with you, I looked at the body of work. I just want to see how serious they're taking this. I'm like, oh, he's pretty good. So I got in touch with him, and then he was like, okay, what are you thinking? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, just give me a backpack. Or I gave him small details. I just said something about the hair, uh, and the globe that's in one hand, and the backpack as well. But the rest of it was just him. Like he just, he sent it to me. I'm like, that's perfect. That's perfect. I wanted the world, and then that's just so me, man. You got this skinny little stick figure dude. You got this backpack. You got the hat. Yeah, you have the hat. You have the just the world. Like it took me a long time to realize, this world can be. I can be whatever I want to in this world. I just have to do it. I just have to go for it. So yeah, like that picture is literally me. Literally me from like the, the stick figure legs, the hair, the hat, backpack. That's me. Every time I go to the studio, I look just like that. I'm just a regular kid walking down the street with a dream, man. That's just me.
Oh, wow. Well, look, thank you so much for doing this. This has to be like one of my favorite interviews that I've done thus far. There aren't a lot out yet, but I've done
Hmm.
quite a few. And this
Hmm.
by far has to be like one of my favorites. So thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to just talk and learn more about you. Um,
Same here. I just want to see, what made you want to do what you do? You know, like what brought Chelsea into this spotlight, man? And I honestly thought you were like a you know, like just looking at the pages, I'm like, oh, this is one of those. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I thought it was like a, you know, just a, like one of those big companies. It was the presentation was so well. It was the way you presented it to me, just the email, the format, just the whole body of work. I want to say the structure was just it was just amazing, and that just brought my attention more and more. So I'm like, yo, I got to take advantage of this. This is, and it's the same for you. Like, you know, you're gonna be big. Like, I feel like, and you know, a lot of people just, I want to say just the presentation. You know, a lot of people don't have that body of work, and like, you know, and then to expand the interview, to do an interview for that long, to have that many backup questions, you know, to do that much research until, you know, whoever you're interviewing, to know that much about that person. I don't think people really know how much, you know, kind of work that takes. So it's that's incredible, you know, to like just to have that type of I want to say drive or desire to do that. You know, that's cool. And I can tell you're a people's person. I can tell. I can tell.
Over like virtually, yes. I feel like in person I'm so awkward. I don't know. Like we can be in a room and I'll just be like, so
Yeah. You know what? I'm like that with people. Let's just say who I don't have a good history with. That's how I'm like, you know, yeah. It's that is, yeah. So
yeah, I'm exactly like that. People I don't know, people I haven't been around for years, I'm just like, "Oh." But
yeah, like I seen a teacher recently, man. Like one of my high school teachers. She was only there for like a year. And you know, she seen me at work. I'm like, hi, I guess. Like, I didn't think she remembered me that well. You know, she was a teacher, but she wasn't like none of my like favorites, so none of my most remembered. You know, she came and gave me a hug and everything. And it was so awkward. Like it just I barely know this person. Like I know you, but we didn't have that chemistry like when we were, you know. So yeah, you know, thank you again for reaching out and wanting to do this interview with me.
yeah.
That's really strange how you found me. That is really strange. Wow. Every time someone tell me they found me, it's always on like some type of explore or discovery page, something like that. So I'm
No.
like, I didn't even know. I'm like, wow, that is crazy. That is crazy.
I go down some
Yeah.
really weird rabbit holes on Spotify to find different artists. Like I love listening to artists that aren't like mainstream, you know? So
Hmm.
just a lot of times those are the best ones, you know, and
Hmm.
it's like, how, how do you not have this like, you know, recognition? It blows my mind how many like great artists I find just like diving through Spotify.
Oh my God, that is just crazy. I find so many great talents. It's just crazy. Like it's yeah, like you said, once you dig into that rabbit hole, you be amazed at how much talent you find. You know,
Mhm.
that is just man. Like I want to say one of the it was two artists that I found like way before they start like getting popular. Like when I started listening to Brent Fayez, you know, and then like I want to say years down the line, I didn't know that was him on that song. She see money all around me. I I did not know that was. I knew about him. I listened to him early, but I did not know he got on songs like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's Brent. Wow. And I don't know if you know him, but his name is Rex Orange County.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
So
man.
good. So good. I don't think he's come out with anything. He may have come out with a song recently, but
That man can make me cry in 2 seconds, man.
he is so talented. He's so, so good. And even I feel like he's like slept on. Like
Yeah, I
he's,
feel like he still slept on.
yeah,
Still.
yeah. Is there anything that you want to shout out? Anything that you want anybody to know?
Uh,
Anything you want to plug?
mm, nah, I think it's just this interview. You know, this opportunity was just great. You know, Like this was just it was just cool, man. You know, just a cool experience. My first interview, I guess. Um, nah, not really no shout outs or anything. You know, just I'm gonna just continue to work. You know, hopefully I see you down the line, Chelsea. I will never forget you neither. I will never forget you. I'm
Wow.
always remember that. So yeah, that's it right there.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for watching. For the latest in music, fashion, and creative culture, make sure you follow Swagger RS. Thank you for listening to this episode of Time Out, and be sure to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to follow us at Swagger RS on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.